This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. Today's repair is being brought partially in thanks to Hipa parts. They have sent me this carburetor kit. Comes with fuel lines and a spark plug to go on this Poulan Pro PP333 weed trimmer. I want to thank them for being a continued partner to the channel. I've probably put a dozen plus items on my machines, and they've all worked great. So thank you to Hipa. They have a promotion going on. If you catch this video within the first week I put it on the channel, they always have monthly promotions going on, but the one that's going on for March is a bunch of items they have on their website for $9.90 a piece. This one's not one of them. I unfortunately did not have a machine that needed a $9.90 carburetor. However, I did clean them out of Kohler Courage carburetor kits that came with the carburetor, air filter, fuel line, and the whole 9 yards. I've got 5 of them back there. They're worth a shot. I got a link down below to my share a sale site. If you buy off of that link, you can also use the promotion code Ellis Mowers in all caps to receive 10% off your order. It works for the $9.90 promotion alongside it. So if you want to get even more off, use that. The link's down below. Before we also get started on this, I wanted to thank y'all, because if it weren't for y'all, companies like Hipa and others wouldn't reach out to me to try their products. And we reached over 6,000 subscribers now, which is amazing. Thank you all so much. Really, really do appreciate it. I may not express it very much, but it really, really helps. Helps motivation, number one, and helps financially, number two. Thanks to y'all and YouTube. Let's get started on this thing. We'll hopefully have it off and on fairly quickly here. So here we get started with this. I don't know if this is the same as a Husqvarna or not. I don't know if they share across machines when it comes to 2-cycle equipment. This thing's really not in that bad a shape. The carb kit I got only comes with the carburetor, fuel filter, and that spark plug. I do know that this runs on starting fluid, so we're just going to test the carb out. A couple of 8mm bolts and the T20. We'll hopefully get this off. It's kind of that 2-stage carb that's got the choke on the top. Let's see, is the primer bulb associated with this too? It is. So is the throttle cable. Okay, let's see what we can do here. So the throttle cable actually rides around this plastic piece. You can see these fuel lines are just toast. This carb actually might be good, but we're already in it, so we might as well just fix it. So we've got this out. Let's take a point to look. We'll put a primer bulb in it while we're here too. Take a point to look at what these look like. So it looks like we're taking the inlet pipe from the carburetor, or from the primer bulb, down into the tank. So this is the outlet right here. The outlet goes on the top, which is the large nipple, so to speak, on this primer bulb. It goes down into the tank, and then the other one, the inlet goes up. where does it go? Goes on to this side of the carburetor. So your inlet's right there, your outlet's right here. Your outlet from the carburetor goes into the small portion of the primer bulb. The big nipple on the primer bulb goes back to the tank. Y'all help me remember that, all right? So we've gotten those two screws off, and I think this thing will it just come off? Maybe. Got a bunch of linkages and stuff right here. Let's see. Yeah, it's trying to wiggle it out here. Shouldn't be latched on anywhere else. Those screws right there go inside the carburetor. Let me get a little bit of a, see if I can just pry it out here. There we go. Just years of gaskets stuck on it. Pull. Oh, the gasket's still stuck on it too. We do need to make sure that we don't mess this gasket up, because we also don't have one of these with this carburetor. So that's going to be interesting. All right. Let's finish pulling it off here. Oh, what's the hang up here? Let's go. There we go. So that's good. We'll take the throttle off. See what we can do about this. So here's the carb, the new one. A couple of fuel filters and a spark plug came with it. Okay, we've got gaskets down here. That's good. I think, will one of these work? I don't think they will, actually. Oh boy. Maybe they will. Let's see. Let's see. They actually won't. They sometimes send these universal gaskets that don't work. And we've got primer bulb and fuel line and stuff all in here too. Just not a gasket that'll work. So, let's see if the doctor can perform some surgery here. That is the one downfall of aftermarket items, guys, is that if it's an uncommon gasket, it's probably not going to come with it. So, the key is we got to get this off in one piece. Otherwise, I might have to go through my gasket search. In order to see what we got. It's coming off okay. It's not going to be perfect. So yeah, we're not going to be able to save that, unfortunately. Let me look in my gasket stash to see if I've got one that works. If not, what we'll do is try and retrofit this gasket right here to work with this machine, which wouldn't take much doing, but still gotta make it work, you know. Drill a little hole in there somewhere. All's not lost, just have to deal with universal stuff sometimes. So let me work on that. I'll be right back. So I found like a universal type gasket that has the little 4 things on it. That seems to work okay. Matches all the bolt holes and all that stuff, so that's really what matters. So again, this fuel line, the inlet fuel line, is going to go into the fuel filter, or into the inlet, from the fuel filter to the inlet of the carburetor. That's where that one's going to go. From the outlet of the carburetor, we're going to go into the small line of the primer bulb, and from the outlet of the primer bulb we're going to go back down for the tank return. So I will get those fuel lines routed, save a little bit of time, drain the tank out of this thing, put the throttle cable back in, and get the fuel lines on. Once we do all that, we should be in good shape, and hopefully we'll get this thing to run. Again, everything I needed is in here, like I said, including the fuel line, except for that gasket material. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing this. That gasket's probably not going to be right. So I basically got everything back together. Again, it's just a little bit of a sandwich here. So the fuel filter line goes up to, you can't really see it, but it goes up to the line that I showed y'all earlier. And then the outlet, which I think is on the top, goes over everything into the small nipple of the fuel primer bulb, and then the big nipple of the primer bulb goes out to the outlet pipe. Hopefully y'all can decipher that from the previous clip, as I've already put all this back together and not shown y'all. Silly me. But what we'll do now, we'll put the air filter back on. It's just sometimes a time-consuming process to put those fuel lines on. Just remember the orientation that you took them off. Take pictures, do whatever you need to. It makes it a lot easier to put it back on. So we're going to screw this on. I think I need to clean out the tank just a little bit more. But when you come into the tank, one of the best ways to put the fuel line in, you can see a little bit of junk in the tank still, is to cut the edge of the fuel line and then slide it through. And then if you have a big enough tail on it, you can take some of these needle nose pliers here, angle pliers, and literally pull it through. And that's what I did with this machine. So everything looks like it's functioning like it's supposed to. I do know that this ran on whenever I poured 2-cycle mix down the carb throat. And so we're going to see if it runs next. If it does, I've got to sort out what I want to do with this head, because it's one of them feed heads that, like, you got to put, new weed eater line in and cut the line and stuff like that. We could do this thing up, make it look really nice if I decide to put a couple of bucks into it. We'll see though. So we got good results here. We pushed the primer bulb. We're getting gas through, which is good. So in theory, I should just be able to flip the start down here, give it a couple of pulls, and hopefully it'll kick off for us. And if so, then we're in good shape, hopefully. Oh, there we go. Try this again. Alright, we gotta liven it up a little bit. Good. So it's a little bit off, but we'll see what we can do there with it. Got it running though. Let me get it dialed in with some tools. See if we can get it running a little better than this. So some people expect excuse me, these to just be ready to go out of the box. Every machine is different, so you have to come down here. This is a 21 spline. I had to open it up a little bit, open up the, turn them to the left a little bit, seems to work fine now when it comes to getting gas. It just wasn't getting enough. And like I said, it seems to be all right now. So let's try it again. Can't really ask for much more than that, to be honest with you. So that's it, guys. I think that one's good. I got to do some more work to this machine before I actually sell it, but that's a little bit of unrelated to carb stuff. I've just got to figure out what I'm going to do with the head. But the main thing is the carb situation is good now, thanks to Hipa. So I'm going to clean my stuff up. We'll wrap this video up. So here we are, we're finished with this. Thank you, Hipa, for sending me that carburetor. Brought this thing back to life. Still doing a little bit of adjustments on it, but you're talking about something that probably hasn't been brought out of hibernation for at least a year now, because that's how long I've had it. So we've got that going on. It's going to turn into a decent weed eater for somebody. And since you know, you go aftermarket, you get a little bit cheaper price, and it leaves me a little bit of meat on the bone in order for the work that I've done to swap this carb out. So again, just be careful. The gaskets, sometimes the gaskets will give you a little bit of fits just because they're more like a universal fit, and if you have kind of a unique or an oddball machine like this, it may not fully fit. Luckily, I had a gasket that fit. You could always reuse the old gasket or find another gasket for a couple of bucks somewhere. But yeah, I think we're good, guys. Again, thank you, Hipa Parts, for your continued support of the channel, and it's because of people like y'all that they continue to reach out and want to work with me. And check out their promotions, current and ongoing. They've always got something going on, so you'll probably be bound to find something that is good on their website. Links below if y'all have any parts. If you use that link, that share a sale link down below, and buy something using that link, I get a little commission off of it too. So that helps me out a little bit, helps y'all out a little bit. And if y'all use the code Ellis Mowers at checkout, you get an additional 10% off on top of the promotions too. Thank you again, guys. We have saved another weed eater from the trash, and we'll send it off to a new home for a little bit more labor. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next video.